My niece spit on my daughter at Christmas. It was one of those sticky strings kids do when they're trying to be gross on purpose. It landed on Lily's sweater, right on the little snowman she drew, and we ironed on together. Santa skips kids like you, Ava said, loud enough that the room went quiet. She was 10, all elbows and attitude, and she was grinning. My throat went tight. Lily wiped at her sweater with the cuff of her sleeve. She didn't cry. She just stared at the tree like, if she focused on the lights, she couldn't hear any of it. My sister Natalie laughed. "She's not wrong," she said, sipping her wine. "Santa has rules." I stood up. My hands shook so bad I had to shove them into my coat sleeves to hide it. I grabbed Lily's coat and her little hat with the pom-pom. Dad moved before I made it to the door. He put an arm out like he was coaching football and I was a linebacker. "You're being dramatic," he said, like he was reading a script he'd used on me since I was 15. Behind him, the mantel was lined with stockings. Natalie, Ava, Max, Mom, Dad. The one for Lily was missing again. There was a crooked nail where one used to be. I swallowed. "I'm not making a scene," I said. My voice sounded flat. "I'm updating the trust fund for her college." I pulled out my phone. I already knew where the button was. I had been thinking about it in the car just in case. Natalie put her glass down with a thud. "Don't you dare." She snapped and stepped toward me like she was going to grab the phone. Then her phone buzzed on the coffee table. Another buzz. Then a ping. She glanced down at the screen and her face went white. I saw my own last name in the subject line on her lock screen, under the words beneficiary change confirmation. Lily's mitten was in my hand. I slid it on for her. "Put your hat on, baby," I whispered. The room stayed quiet, except for the dryer downstairs and the fake logs in the gas fireplace clicking on and off. No one told Ava to apologize. No one moved the stocking hanger to make room for Lily's name. I opened the door. The cold hit my face like a slap. It felt clean. "I'm Lauren, 37, Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a front-end manager at a big regional supermarket. The kind with the pharmacy and the floral department, and a Starbucks that my cashiers sneak into on their breaks. Divorced. One daughter, Lily, 8 years old. I wear a name tag and sensible shoes. And I know every coupon policy by heart. People see my job and assume paycheck to paycheck. It's not wrong to assume, but I'm good with money. I have to be. I got married young and divorced at 32. We had been trying for a baby, and then we weren't. I fostered Lily when she was 5 and adopted her a year later. She came to me with a trash bag of clothes and a folder of paperwork. She had a way of folding paper daisies like she could make a room nicer by sheer stubbornness. She still does. My family never said, "not really family" out loud. They didn't need to. It came out sideways. The first Christmas after the adoption, Mom put Lily's name in masking tape on a stocking that used to be the dog's. "Just for this year," she said, "until we order a proper one." It never came. They love kids in general. They love kids they recognize. My sister Natalie has 2, Ava and Max. They were the golden grandkids. With a slide installed in the backyard and a trampoline and a cousin's day every second Saturday, where they went to the zoo for free because I bought the family pass. That's the thing. I wasn't just the sister. I was the bank. Every Friday, I sent my parents $100 for groceries because I knew the numbers on their Social Security and Dad's pension. When the furnace went out in January 2 years ago, I put $2,800 on my card and set up a payment plan they never stuck to. I paid the plumber when the basement flooded, $711. I bought Mom's car new tires last winter because she called crying. I sent Natalie $126 a month for her car insurance the last year, just until tax season. When school started, I bought the lists for all 3 kids, Lily's plus Ava's and Max's. It came to $482.99 with folders and those weird calculators. I bought our Cousin's Day pass to the Science Center and the zoo because it made me happy, honestly, to have everyone together. $260 for the year, up front. The pass had Johnson family printed on it. Lily asked if we were the Johnsons too. I said yes because my last name is Johnson. But I saw Natalie smirk. "We're the real Johnsons," she told Ava once. "Not quite enough." When Ava was born, Natalie was 23, and scared and broke. I set up a $529 college plan in Ava's name with me as the owner. I chipped in $100 a month at first, then $150, then $200 when I got the front-end manager promotion. I even added an extra $500 after my tax refund last year. Total over the years, about $8,600, not counting small market gains. I gave Natalie the viewer login so she could see her baby's future. It made her feel secure. It made me feel useful. When Max came, I did the same. $50 a month because I couldn't manage more. I mapped out the math on a sticky note and told myself I could step it up after paying down my student loans. I had an Excel sheet labeled Family, where I kept track of my weekly transfers, their due dates, their amounts. I know that sounds cold. It was the only way to keep it straight. Meanwhile, Lily got the leftovers. Not on purpose. That's how it felt. I'd hunt for clearance shoes in her size while I was ringing up someone's ribeye. We had a little jar on the counter for field trip money that she'd put quarters into like it was a game. She never complained. The slights piled up like receipts in the bottom of my bag. At Max's 3rd birthday, they told Lily the inflatable castle was for family kids only when there were too many on it. At the 4th of July barbecue, someone handed Lily a red popsicle and then took it back because those are for the littles, even though she was 7 and the same age as the littles. On Halloween, Mom posted a picture of the grandkids in costumes and cropped Lily out by accident. "Oops," she texted. "I didn't have a good one." I swallowed all of it. I told myself they were distracted. I told myself they weren't used to it. I told myself Mom's memory was getting worse, and Dad was stubborn and Natalie was under stress. Lily would climb into my lap later and show me a drawing of all of us together, with her in the middle holding a star. I hung those drawings on our fridge, even when the tape curled. Sometimes the money was the apology, and I was the one giving it. I knew they were using me. I could see it, and I still typed in my card number. Why? Because it kept the peace, because it kept the kids together. Because if Lily had love from lots of places, then the gaps at home would feel smaller. Last summer, I said no for the first time. Natalie asked me to co-sign for a second SUV for safety because the one she had was old. I said no. She didn't talk to me for 2 weeks. When school started, the Cousin's Day text chain left me out, and they went to the zoo without us because of parking. I saw the pictures on Facebook. By Thanksgiving, Mom told me money had gotten tight again. Could I bump up my Friday transfers to $150 just through the holidays? I did. I always did. I brought homemade rolls and a new roasting pan to Thanksgiving. And Lily's place card at the big table said, Lily, with 2 L's. I didn't correct it. The next day, Max broke Lily's clay turkey she made at school. It shattered on the laminate. He laughed. Natalie told Lily not to be so sensitive. I swept up the pieces and felt stupid for crying in my car afterward. So when Ava spit on my kid at Christmas and told her Santa skipped kids like her, I knew this wasn't about one rude child. It was the bill coming due. Let me put this part in simple terms, because money is math, and math makes sense when people don't. I was the owner of Ava's college account, Ohio 529. I opened it when she was a week old, and Natalie was still at the hospital. I filled out every form. The beneficiary was Ava Johnson. I was the custodian. I set up an auto debit for my checking for the 15th of every month. I gave Natalie read-only access because she wanted to show her friends that Aunt Lauren has her back. She liked the account balance screenshot next to pictures of pricey strollers. On Christmas, when Dad said I was being dramatic and Natalie laughed at the spit and there was no stocking for my kid, something slid into place in my head. It wasn't rage. It was clarity. I could do one thing. One clean thing. I didn't have to argue. I didn't have to say a word. I sat on the arm of the couch, pulled up my College Advantage app, typed my passcode. My thumb hesitated over Face ID, and then I pressed it. Accounts loaded. Ava's balance, $9,112.55. Max's, 3,240, $1.10. Lily's had one too, started later, smaller. $2, 75.33. I had been putting in what I could, but it always felt like I was catching up. There is a button in those accounts that says Change Beneficiary. You can change it to another qualifying family member with no penalty if you're the owner. I had read the rules back when I set them up. I'm boring like that. I tapped Ava's account. Change Beneficiary, the app asked. Are you sure? It gave me a little warning about potential tax implications if the new beneficiary is a generation below or something complicated. I'd run those numbers. It was fine. Who are you texting? Dad asked. He sounded tired more than angry. He sounded like he just wanted to eat ham and watch the game. I'm updating the trust fund for her college. I said trust fund, because that was the word Natalie used for any account she thought sounded fancy. She always told people I set up a trust fund for Ava. I didn't correct her. It felt easier to use her language. Natalie stepped toward me. If you touch that, I swear. I typed in Lily's name, Lily Johnson. I entered her social security number from memory because I had a picture of her card saved, and I probably shouldn't admit that in public, but I'm careful. I hit submit. The confirmation screen popped up. Beneficiary change submitted. It offered to email a confirmation. I tapped yes. It sent to me and to the authorized viewer on file. That was Natalie's email, because she asked me years ago to add it. She wanted to be notified every time I made a deposit. Her phone buzzed. Then again. She glanced down, and I watched her face go from annoyed to confused to panic. She lunged like she could catch the notification and shove it back into the phone. She didn't say anything for a second. She just stared at me. What did you do? Mom asked. She sounded small from across the room. She was perched on the edge of the recliner, like a bird ready to fly. I didn't shrug. I didn't smirk. I didn't cry. I put my phone away. I stepped around my father's arm and handed Lily her coat. We're heading out. I hope you have a nice Christmas. Lily put on her hat. She reached for my hand. Her palm was warm in her mitten. She didn't look back at the tree. Lauren, Dad said, don't leave like this. I paused at the door. Like what? I asked. He didn't have an answer. He never does. In the car, Lily buckled her seatbelt without me asking. She looked at me. Did I do something wrong? She whispered. No, I said. I tucked her chin in my hand and made her look at me. You did nothing wrong. Some adults do wrong and say it's tradition. That's not your fault. I started the car. My phone vibrated in my coat pocket the entire drive home. Calls, texts, all of it. By the time we pulled into our apartment lot, the notifications were stacked like a Jenga tower. I made us hot cocoa with the good marshmallows and put Lily in front of Home Alone because she likes the part with the paint cans. I went to the bathroom and leaned my head against the cool mirror and breathed. I wasn't shaking anymore. My hands were steady. The math had been done. The button had been pushed. The beneficiary was changed. It was one move. Clean. Done. The first voicemail from Natalie was screaming. It was all thief, and how dare you, and that money is for Ava. Then it flipped into crying. You promised, she said. You always promised. I texted back once. I never promised to fund children who spit on mine. Then I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and rolled meatballs for the spaghetti, because kids need dinner, no matter what. Dad called at 9. He didn't leave a message. Mom texted me at midnight. We need to talk. Family meeting tomorrow. I didn't reply. I didn't sleep much. Lily did. She slept with her sock monkey and her new fuzzy blanket that she got from a coworker of mine who draws names for Secret Santa. She looked small and safe, and I kept getting up to check if she was breathing like she was a newborn. Old habits. They showed up the next day, anyway. Mom and Dad at my door bundled against the cold like they were the ones who'd been left out in it. Dad held a bakery box. Mom clutched her purse like a life preserver. We're here to talk, Dad said. He glanced around my living room like he didn't recognize it. We painted the wall a pale blue in September. Lily picked the color. I made tea, I said. I'm not a monster. I put out mugs. I sat on the couch. They sat on the edge of their seats like the chairs might bite. You can't just take money from a child, Mom said. Her hands shook when she opened the bakery box. She pulled out a misshapen cinnamon roll and set it on a napkin she'd brought from home. I didn't take anything, I said. I own the account. I changed the beneficiary to my daughter. The money I put in is supporting my child, which is what it was always supposed to do. It was a gesture, Dad said. He looked at my carpet when he said it. You made a gesture. You don't take back a gesture. I don't fund a family my kid isn't part of, I said. I said it calmly, because it's the only way I know how to say hard things without crying. I was clear about what I needed. Lily had to be included. She wasn't. She was spit on in your house and you both stood there. I looked at Mom. You laughed. Mom flinched. Natalie laughed, she said. You didn't say anything, I said. You didn't hang her stocking. It slipped my mind, she said. I believe you, I said. That's the problem. Then this will help, I said. Now it can slip your mind to depend on my Friday transfers, because those stop today too. I paused. I'm not making threats. I'm telling you what is happening so you can plan. Dad's mouth tightened. So what is it your boyfriend told you to do this? He reached for the old script. If I'm not a bank, I must be controlled by someone else. I don't have a boyfriend, I said. I have a budget. That's what told me to do this. They didn't have much after that, Mom cried. She said she'd apologize to Lily. I said she should apologize to Lily, not to me. Dad stood in my kitchen and stared at the magnet on my fridge that said, World's okayest mom, like it might explain me. It didn't. Natalie texted me all day. She switched from rage to bargaining to legal threats. I will call a lawyer, she typed. Stealing from a minor is a crime. I sent her the PDF of the 529 plan owner agreement, where it says owners can change the beneficiary. She said, You're small. You'll always be small. I put my phone face down and helped Lily glue cotton balls on a construction paper snowman. A bright spot. My cousin Hannah called. We hadn't been close since we were kids. She works nights as a nurse and has 3 kids of her own. I saw what happened, she said. I'm sorry. That was ugly. If you need someone to watch Lily while you work late next week, I can grab her and she can hang with my girls. I felt my shoulders drop for the first time. Somebody saw it. Somebody said it out loud. At work, I hit my stride. There was comfort in holiday returns. People brought back air fryers and 2 small slippers, and I processed them with the efficiency of a saint. I took an extra shift on New Year's Eve for the holiday pay. It felt good to do something and have the math make sense. I didn't go to the family meeting that Natalie tried to organize at my parents' house. She sent me a picture of the dining table with 6 chairs pulled up and a caption. Your chair is empty, I texted back. So was my kid's stocking, she wrote. Dramatic. I put my phone away. I kept my message simple and the same every time, even when it was tempting to explain. I won't fund a family my kid isn't part of. The beneficiary change is done. I'm not discussing it further. Saying it nicely didn't make it easier for them to hear. It made it easier for me to live with. We did our own New Year's at home. I let Lily stay up to 10 because midnight is hard when you're 8 and you like your bedtime. We had pizza and paper hats. I set 2 extra plates at the table, out of habit. Then I stacked them under the rest and left the chairs empty as a reminder and not a punishment. Hannah and her girls came by that Saturday. They brought cookies. One of the twins made Lily a friendship bracelet in pink and blue, and it was too big, so they tied it twice. The girls asked about the zoo pass. We canceled Cousin's Day, Lily said, and then looked at me, worried she'd done something wrong. I shook my head. We can go to the library, I said. They have free passes sometimes. We'll get our own. We did little things that felt like big things. I hung Lily's latest drawing where the family calendar used to be. It was our apartment, with 2 stick figures out front. Both had crowns. She told me the crowns were not for queens. They were for winners of being brave. I didn't correct her. I put a small framed photo on the shelf of just the two of us at the lake last summer. Hair frizzy, skin shiny from the sun. I used to avoid putting up pictures that didn't include everyone. I'm done doing that. We didn't hear from Natalie for a bit. Mom texted me a photo on a random Tuesday of a new stocking she ordered online with Lily embroidered in cursive. "I'll hang it when she comes," she wrote. I put the phone down and breathed. We'll see. A stocking is cloth and thread. Respect is action. On a snow day, Lily and I made hot chocolate, and I let her add too much whipped cream. We played a board game with missing pieces. She laughed, and it sounded like wind chimes. She asked me, "Do you think Santa skips kids?" I told her the truth. "No," I said, "but sometimes people use Santa to be mean." She nodded. She leaned against me, warm and heavy, and I rested my chin on the top of her head. Her hair smelled like apples because of the cheap shampoo she picked. I stared at the empty chairs a second, and then got up and moved them back to the wall. I didn't need them to prove anything. In the spring, when the Zoo Pass mailer comes, I'll put it straight in the recycling. We'll get our own if we want, on our own day. And if Hannah and her girls want to come, I'll buy 4 tickets. That's how the math works now. I'm not a hero. I didn't win anything. I set one line in the sand with dollars and cents, and then I stuck to it. It was enough. It had to be. When I tucked Lily in that night, she handed me a small card she made out of construction paper. "For college," she wrote, and taped a quarter inside. I put it in the folder with the confirmation. I closed the drawer. I stood there a second and let myself feel the quiet.